What up? What up, everyone? We are back live. We're here for another podcast episode. It's going to be extremely valuable of the I Am Undeniable podcast. So we're going to begin this podcast. We're just going to jump straight into it. I don't want to waste too much time. Make sure everything's working with my mic. Cool. So we're going to begin this podcast episode in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to another episode of the I Am Undeniable podcast. I'm your host, Alex Sundar. And in today's episode, what I'm going to be discussing and talking about is how to speed up fat loss. So if you're someone who doesn't have a game plan to lose body fat, maybe you're someone who's plateaued on their fat loss journey, or maybe you're someone that wants to get quicker and faster results, well, you came to the right episode, because we're going to be deep diving into it on exactly what you need to do in order to speed up fat loss. So as we kind of go through this episode, I'm going to give you guys a ton of value. And if you guys are getting value from this, click that subscribe button. Give me a follow on my Instagram, AlexSundarFit, and we're gonna go from there. So when we're discussing losing body fat, one of the most important aspects when it comes down to it is understanding the process on how to lose body fat. When we're talking about speeding up body fat, when we're talking about speeding up fat loss, essentially what we're talking about is increasing something called a caloric deficit. Now, when you're losing body fat, the recommendation that I give to the majority of people is to lose anywhere from 0.5 to 1% total body mass per week, which means you shouldn't go any higher than that. Now, the reason why I recommend that is because if you go higher than that, it's food cravings go through the roof. You typically experience muscle loss on top of that. Some people experience hormonal issues. So losing body fat too quickly is not the aspect that we're looking for. There's a lot of risk to reward ratio that's involved with that. And maybe if you're like a more advanced like athlete or person who's lost a lot of weight before in the past and you've experienced with it, we might look at losing more. But for most people, 0.05 to 1% total body mass per week is roughly 1 to 2 pounds a week, right? So we have to really understand that, right? So when we're actually losing body fat, then it's like, okay, well, how do I speed it up? How do I make sure we get it done quicker? Well, first off, we need a goal date in mind, right? So when you guys are making your plan, one of the biggest mistakes I actually see with people is they don't have a timeline, a realistic timeline to lose weight, right? So let's say your goal is to lose 30 pounds of body fat. Now, I don't know your weight, so I calculate 0.5 to 1% total body mass loss per week. But let's say we're going to lose 1 pound a week. That will equal 30 weeks, right? 30 weeks of fat loss to make that happen. Now, if you wanted to speed it up and lose that 2 pound a week mark, it would probably take us 15 weeks, significantly quicker to get that result, right? Now, you don't want to do it any quicker than that. Some people can, depending on like the program that you're on, but that's the general scope of actually what we want to look at. So the question you guys have to ask yourself, if you're looking to lose 3 to 4 to 5 pounds a week, honestly, that's just too much for you, right? It's going to you're going to do more harm than good, right? Now, if you're someone that's like 400, 500 pounds, absolutely you could lose that amount of weight per week. But you guys got to understand, the more weight loss you lose, the process might be a little slower at that point because you don't have as much body fat to lose, right? At that point. And I think a lot of times when people are like, I need to speed up fat loss or I need to get started, I think a lot of people get so caught up in the fact that they need to lose body fat quicker. They forget that there's a whole nother process in order to keep it off. There's a whole nother process to do it right. There's a whole nother process to do it healthily. And there's a whole nother process to make sure you do it at a sense that you can actually get results long-term and not go through this yo-yo dieting cycle like I know a lot of you are, right? We don't want to waste our time doing unnecessary bullshit in order to get results. We want to ensure we're doing the right things at the right times in order to get there. And trust me, listen to me. If you actually want to get results, you want to follow my instructions on this podcast episode. So when we're losing about 1 pound of body fat per week, before we talk about losing 2 pounds a week, you need to understand that you need to create a deficit. That deficit can come from eating less food. That deficit can come from increasing your daily activity per day. It can come from, many different other aspects, right? So when we're increasing your deficit, to lose 1 pound a week, we're looking to burn off at least 3,500 calories during the week to lose 1 pound of body fat. Roughly, it is 3,500 calories to lose 1 pound, sometimes even more for people, right? So we're looking at burning or consuming less than 500 calories per day. That's a lot of food. For most people, that's 1 or 2 meals. It is a lot of food to do that, right? So now you got to think about, if you want to speed it up and lose 2 pounds per week, you now have to burn off double that amount, 7,000 calories during the week. That's a lot of food. That's 1,000 calories per day, right? That means you got to eat less food overall, right? Significantly more. That means you're probably going to be hungrier. That means you're probably going to do more cardio in the gym, do more daily steps, train a little bit harder, increase that output. It's more work. It might get you the result faster, but you got to weigh the pros and cons of what's realistic for you and what's not. So if you wanted to lose fat fast, that's how I would do it, is increase that deficit to 7,000 calories. So what you need to do first off is you need to find your maintenance calorie level, right? If you want to find your maintenance calorie level, there's another podcast episode that I have on the podcast that you can actually check out. Use the formula that I give to figure out your maintenance calorie level, right? That's a really good one. Or if you want a free guide to help you out with that, DM me. I got a free 6-week fat loss guide, mini cut guide to teach you how to lose weight fast and how to speed it up as well. So DM me for that as well on Instagram, and I can toss that your way. But what we want to do is we want to find out your maintenance calorie levels. We want to find out how many calories you're consuming on a day-to-day basis, right? That's going to give you a baseline. Now, what you want to do is you want to take away 500 calories from that total. So as an example, let's say you consume 2,000 calories per day. You now want to consume 1,500 calories per day. But if you're a person who is very short, and let's say your maintenance calories is like 1,500 calories a day, I wouldn't subtract 500. I wouldn't losing 2 pounds a week is not for you. You would stick to 1 pound a mark, right? But we're talking about speeding it up. So the minus 500 calories per day, right? You want to eat high protein, right? Roughly a pound, a 0.7 to a pound of protein per goal body weight. That's what I would aim for, right? Or current body weight, right? That's kind of like the general consensus. And the rest you can fill up between carbs and fats, whatever you like, right? I definitely suggest keeping your fat anywhere between 15 to 20% of your total daily calories for hormonal health. But that's where we roughly want to see it, right? Now, why not burn off 1,000 calories off your diet? Well, if you just bring your calories too low, you're going to restrict yourself too much, right? So we want to keep it realistic at that point. So 500 calories. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to look at other aspects to increase your output. Strength train. I will hit the gym multiple times a week, not twice a week, not 3 times a week. I'll probably go 4 to 5 times a week of lifting weights at that point, because we're looking to gain a certain result. Heavy strength training, maintain muscle. It doesn't need to be excessive on the volume. You don't need to walk out the gym thinking you can't walk. I'll probably pick 4 or 5 exercises, right? Good amount of volume. The goal is not to kill yourself. The goal is to strength train and maintain muscle, right? We want to get that right, folks. Get that right. After that, you're going to be doing 10,000 steps a day. Now, notice this. This is going to be your starting point for 10,000 steps. It's going to increase as you go, right? Depending on how fat loss works for your body. Then I would start off with 20 minutes of cardio every day as well. Increase your heart rate. You want to be between a zone 30 training with your heart rate. Push yourself. It can be the stepper, treadmill, bike, whatever it looks like, but you got to get your heart rate up because we're doing cardio at that point. So we really want to focus on that aspect when it comes down to losing body fat. Now, that's your starting point, right? It's not going to stay the same. It's going to increase for you. So when you plateau for fat loss, when you get stuck, we're going to increase that deficit by eating less food, right? That's a big one. When you stall, we're going to increase those daily steps, and we're going to be doing more cardio, right? So that's going to progress over time. But if you're getting results and you're losing that 2 pounds per week, you don't need to change anything. You can keep it the same, right? You only change it when you plateau. Now, There's a general rule when you're doing it like this. If you're pushing a more aggressive fat loss phase, you need to get enough sleep. If you don't get enough sleep, you under recover. Your body is not going to recover properly, and your body's going to be stressed out, and you can lose muscle mass on top of it because you're going more aggressive. So if you're going to do this, you got to ensure that you're recovering properly. Get a lot of recovery in. Make sure you can get sleep. If you're someone that sleeps 3 to 4 hours a night, speeding up fat loss, ain't for you. The next thing that we actually want to look at is your stress. If you have an extremely stressful lifestyle, losing fat fast, it's not for you. Do it slower and get better bang for your buck. So those are the key points you want to keep adjust off. Speeding up fat loss is not for everyone. But if your body can handle the load, you got the capacity for it, you can get excellent results. So guys, thank you for tuning in today's episode. Hope you get a ton of value, and we'll talk to you very soon.